to Marilyn again. This is early on Monday morning, and we're surviving the weekend, I'm pleased to say. And lots have happened over the weekend, lots are happening today. Big day today over in the Holy Land. Not been very holy, has it, Marilyn?
No, absolutely dreadful. I mean, I don't understand how your faith, you got that. I just don't understand how all these, it's about, Palestinians versus the Jews and all of that. And you look at these poor people going back to Gaza and you think, well, where are you going to live? I mean, there's nothing left of it, is there? Absolutely nothing. It's been
Not a lot.
obliterated.
Mm.
And they were saying today, it's gonna. I know it is a huge event, and it's amazing for Donald Trump to actually have, because nobody else has ever managed to do it. So, but yes, I realise it has been a process involving, the Arab states and people from America and all sorts of envoys getting involved and all of that. But he does seem to have drawn it all together. And now the next one will be Putin, of course. I mean, if he can do that, then my goodness me, I think he needs to be made a saint.
I do
But I mean, I
see.
think the trouble is, I mean, what gets me about the news is it's all supposition of what they don't really know. They've got the people that are like, oh, well, will it really hold? Oh, well, how do you actually marshal and police the fact that Hamas have got rid of all their weapons? True. Will it last? Oh, the people that it really annoyed me with the people on the streets in London on Saturday. Why? The peace process is going through. It's going to take it will be a procedure and process over some time, but marching through the streets like they were. And then, of course, you had another faction of the we support British Jews, and those people were being arrested by the police. And then you've got the government, I don't know if you read this, saying that hate speech will not involve anti-Semitism, but will involve Islamophobia. Excuse me?
It's dreadful the number of placards that have been pulled down
Awful.
by the police because they say we stand in support of the Jews, and at the same time, the placards that are going on about the river to the sea,
Yes.
leave them up. It is disgusting. Britain's coming out of this whole thing not very well.
It's awful. And then you've got these students that are out there that don't really know, they don't know the background. They don't go back centuries of what's been going on in the Middle East over decades and centuries. And they're just out there because it seems that, I mean, oh, there was some idiot that was advertised on TV interviewed, but he was in his 50s. He hadn't got a diddly squat clue what he was doing there. He spoke utter rubbish. And Dawn Neeson, who was, she's a blonde lady on GB News, she was just like, what? You know, what's he on about? And and I do object to seeing people on those marches with that black and white scarf all over their face. I just think that's wrong. And I don't understand why haven't our police got something better to do than marshal these protests? I mean, I know people have the right to protest, but why can't they just do it in Hyde Park so that people can go about their business? I mean, I should have been going into London this Saturday. I'm not going. You don't know where you're going to get caught up in it because they're not contained. And it's just, I just despair. And my daughter doesn't understand. So my daughter's coming over from Bermuda, right? And she's like, oh, coming into London, Mum, and come and see a show. I said, I am terrified of going into London. So she says to me, oh, stop watching GB News, Mum. I said, it's not just GB News, it's everywhere. Unfortunately, the others don't show it. So when you go into London, you'd have an almighty shock if you just sat watching BBC. You'd think, what's all this going on? Because when you actually see what's going on, it really is only GB News that's actually properly covering it. So, but I think it's awful for the people that are the shop owners and people like that, that ordinary people, you've got Christmas coming only a few weeks away, who would be doing shopping and spending money in London will stay away.
Sadiq Khan, where is he?
Oh, he's
Where
useless.
he
He is
is, and
utterly useless. The
he's on the
whole
way out. Even he recognizes that, doesn't
Oh, the whole
he?
lot of them will come the May elections, hopefully so. But I mean, it's just, and then we get, oh my goodness me, the pressure on Starmer about this China court case thing. Oh, what does he do? He's immediately on another, I'd love to know what his air miles are. He's immediately on another plane over to Egypt, doesn't he? Egypt, he was landing in today. I mean, anything not to just like pop in and visit the UK. You know,
Anywhere, anywhere, as long as it's not UK. Tell you what, we've got to discuss trans,
Ugh,
our
I'd rather
transgender
not. Go on,
people.
carry on.
And basically, an important body in the States, and in particular, a professor that has been studying this for donkey's years, have said it shouldn't be a surprise that these clowns with long range weapons shoot Charlie Kirk, and it keeps happening with other people. You've got to realize, he said, that they're being treated by hormones to change their sex, inverted commas,
Mm.
and they're treated by medication all at the same time. And then they go into intensive online pressure. He says it's not surprising they finish up completely screwballed.
Absolutely.
And it is as simple as that. And about time we heard truths like that.
Yes,
With the
yes.
majority of the trans people, they are poorly. They need help.
Yeah, they do. They do. I was saying that actually to several people over the last few days. I said, "Oh, I talked to the media, Rodney, and I was explaining that, and I said, he says, it's a mental illness, and I said, and I do believe it is. I do, and it could be a way of gaining attention. I'm not saying there aren't a few. I'm not like saying I'm not saying that there may be a few. I'm sure there are a few, but not this total movement. No, I don't believe it. It's like a cult. I struggle to believe it. How, if that's the case, how many twisted, unhappy people lived decade and decade in this country through the 80s, through the 90s. It's just this last few years where this has reached an energy and an oxygen level of its own, isn't it?
It
Um,
has an aided and abetted by social media, of
well,
course.
absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. And again, they go on these apps and all sorts of stuff, and you get stuck down a rabbit hole because of the algorithms, and you can't climb out of it and find common sense again. You're being brainwashed.
Exactly that. The synagogue in Manchester has not gone away, nor should it.
No, absolutely.
Things are coming out about friend Jihad that committed this awful crime. There were people behind it, and they're still being sought. But when you've got the situation of this guy having three wives
Yeah.
and having a rape charge against him and still being let out, forget the bail bit, surely the police, they did, knew all about this guy and did nothing because they were too busy, of course, arresting Lucy Connolly for something that she wrote.
I mean, it makes her jail sentence look even worse, doesn't it, quite honestly?
Does.
I mean, he's driven. I struggle to believe that they didn't know about this guy
Yeah, of
because
course they did. I mean,
they must have done because the father was in on it as well, wasn't he? And there's
yeah.
other people, and yeah, I find it very hard to believe they didn't know. He must have been on the prevent list at some point. I'm sure.
Well, we
I'm
all
sure.
know about
And
prevent.
then
It doesn't.
it was absolutely micromanaged. And I'm surprised there weren't more attacks that day, it being Yom Kippur.
Indeed. Listen, you've been in trouble yourself, haven't you, with Twitter? Well, I've got to congratulate you. There's not many people banned from Twitter X. Let's call it what it is. It's
Well, I was banned because there was a Muslim paedophile, one of the groomers, who had assaulted several girls and women, and he was given a suspended sentence, and I just up in arms about it. And I just said, well, I said if he's escaped that, I said maybe he should have the gallows, and I put you be dot 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 D. I never said the actual word right. And then I get the next morning, I wake up to a merry little message from Twitter saying, you have been reported for hate crime and violence. And I thought, oh, okay. So I managed to get around it, and then I was back on it again the next day, and then the thing came out that we were talking about surrogacy, and we were on about it the other day. And after I'd been on you, and I'd sort of then put some stuff out on Twitter, and I contacted Surrogacy Concern, right? That's an organization. Oh my word. What a bunch of redneck women who are real activists. Oh, it was this, that, and they were really giving it all. And I was saying, you can't be overly, I was trying to be reasonable, right? And I was saying you can't be judgmental over this. And I know two or three people who had terrible situations, very sad and all that, and they went to America and they used the surrogacy. And then I got straight away back, oh yeah, nice middle class, upper class you who's gone to America to buy a baby. I said, you didn't read my message, did you? I said, it wasn't me, it's contacts I know. And also those surrogate women are still in contact with the family, so it's almost like an extended family. That can happen. And I said, and you're being very judgmental, and you haven't read them because it wasn't me, and you're assuming that I'm middle class, you know nothing about me. And I said, the trouble is, this is the bit that got it, the trouble is I am on the fence. I like live and let live, unless you're a paedophile, or unless you're a terrorist, right? But I said, the trouble is with extremists and activists like you who really get up people's noses and under their skin, you're not being a balanced view on this. Oh my gosh. So I blocked them. And then I got a thing from Twitter saying, people have reported you. Here we go again. I thought, well, that's okay because it obviously made an impact. So I got round it again, and now I am back on it again.
Well, two things. If that had happened against YouTube or Facebook, you wouldn't have been back that early, believe you me.
Oh,
The fact that they got you up and running again, they know these activists. That's what they are. I tell you what, Marilyn, they're very well
oh,
organized.
they are, they are, and some of them in that group are from Women's Aid, and I have a real problem with Women's Aid. I think there's a lot of activist women in that, and you know, very strident, almost quite aggressive, um, and there's no compassion. There was no compassion in these texts that I was getting. It was all so aggressive, and I thought, oh my life, I've really lit a touch paper here. And I tried to sort of like wind it down, and but there we go. It just proves that you can't say what you want, but yeah. And I said, that's right. You're not balanced. You're not listening to the other side of the
Well,
equation.
I'm afraid we've got to say the left again. It's all part of the regime.
So
But
so.
we move on to Tim Westwood. Who's he? Well, apparently he was a Radio 1 disc jockey. Did lots of bad things, rapes, sexual assaults during his term. Finished up with another radio station, and they've got him now. BBC seems to specialise in this. Is
They
it
don't they just?
is it the power thing then?
Oh God. I mean, well done, the girls and the women that came out and said, well done. I don't even remember Tim Westwood. I don't know. I don't know what era he was. I think is he in his 50s, 60s?
Oh no, a long time after that.
I don't, oh, what, like 70s, that sort of time?
Yeah, even after
Oh, I don't
that.
remember because yeah, when I was in the 80s, I was so busy having babies, I never listened to Radio 1. I just wanted some peace and quiet.
No, it's
When
not
all
one
the
of my
kids were
favourite
screaming.
channels.
I don't remember. I was very much Tony Blackburn's time, but I mean, I don't remember him, but I really hope he goes down. I really do. But there's another one, you see, an entitled narcissistic guy feels he's like somebody, he's got power, so he thinks over these people. I'm so glad that the judges, seen this and that it got through Crown prosecution because it really isn't easy to get through CPS.
No,
I call it the crumbling prosecution service.
probably very accurate. Listen, we go to ID. We'll wind everybody up now. It's nearly 3 million people and a lot more. You
And
can
more.
probably
It's still going
double
on.
that
It's
figure.
still going on.
And it's, yeah. And he does nothing about it, Sir Kay, because of course he wants rather, we don't. He wants total control
Yeah,
of
but he
how to
can't,
manage it.
but what annoys me is that the rules are with the MPs that if you have, you can do it online, offline. If you do an online petition, offline petition, you get more than 100,000 signatures. It has to be raised in the House. But he's just ridden roughshod over that. So I want to know, where's Lindsay Hoyle? He should be saying you've got a significant number of antis here and it has to be discussed. But hang on a minute, it's now moved on, isn't it? It's not just about Muslim migrants coming over here and finding out where you're working. Well, 13-year-olds aren't working, are they? Why do they now want them 13-year-old kids?
Yeah, this is an
I mean, it's
absolute
outrageous.
nonsense. It's nothing to do with working permits at all.
No, and then of course Tony
Central.
Blair's son has got the contract to do all this, hasn't he? Oh, jobs for the boys.
Apparently, that is a bit of naughty.
Oh, is it? Fake news?
Yes,
Fake
and
news. Oh,
it
right.
came out, but no, that is not the case. That he's got 100,000
Oh,
here
okay.
for
All
the
right,
rest
then
of his
fake
life
news,
or
right?
whatever.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, I forgive him then. But I just don't. I mean, it's getting like Korea.
Yeah, well, on a good day,
Unbelievable. I mean, you think how is this going to work? There's so many elderly people. There must be about a couple of million that haven't got the
it's a
internet.
nonsense. It won't
It's
go through. I will
It's
predict that.
absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
And also, not only, but also, it's going to cost billions. And now we hear this morning, how many billions is it he's going to put into Palestine, to Gaza to rebuild it? Where have they got?
Well, again, it's not allegedly, we'll have to say that.
Oh, right.
We
Okay.
will have to see. I'm sure UK will contribute. It may well contribute that amount. And it's okay if there's a deal done. And in the future, when we've built two or three posh hotels on the seafront, we might gain some profits from them. But no, it doesn't work that way.
But really, it is the Middle East. So the very, very wealthy uh, other countries like the Emiratis, Qatar, Saudi, I mean, they've got enough money to like rebuild Gaza.
Well, it beggars belief in that the real persons that are guilty of this are Hamas. They've got billions
Oh,
stored away in Qatar
yes.
and
Yeah.
in Egypt and other countries. They should be funding it. We shouldn't.
No, I'd love to see what's in that peace deal. But I mean, if he can do this, it would be amazing. But I just think that you see them all marching back in there, and there will be propaganda videos from Hamas, which is not part of the deal. You wait, they'll do it. Um,
They will come out. They will show horrible things.
oh, they will. Even though, and then I mean, it's not so much about not trusting the peace deal as such. I don't think the Middle East are capable of peace. It's gone on for centuries. Look at the Crusades and all of that. I mean, it's gone on for centuries. It's very much a tribal um you sort of mindset over there, isn't it? Right, it's the
Well, they brainwash the kids. This is
yeah, well,
standard.
and I can remember when my daughter was working in Dubai and she used to go very short flight to Beirut and they had these beautiful sort of rooftop bars and all of this and it was beautiful. And I said, Nikki, I hope you're out of that region before it gets bombed again. And he went, oh, Mum, don't be so ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I've lived long enough to see stuff in the Middle East. It rises up, it goes down again, it rises up. They cannot live among each other peacefully. It's part of in their DNA almost. And that's what worries me about us getting involved in it, because if you go back to Lawrence of Arabia and his what he did over there, and I've been told by a couple of friends of mine that were in the army that you have to read that book about Lawrence of Arabia if you are going to be sent out on a missions in the Middle East so that you can understand better um, how it works. And we don't live like them. So I just worry that, the religion, everything, it isn't like us. So I just worry, are we making more of a mix and mess of it than anyway, but I really do hope and pray that he does manage to pull this off. And if it was sustained, that would be a miracle.
It will.
Um,
It
and
will.
then it will be Putin's turn and he'll work on him.
Yeah, don't expect the light switch to go on and off. It
No, 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 no,
that
no.
way. Right, got something serious in our own country.
Oh, well,
Probably,
he won't know about that though, will he, Starmer? Because he always spends his time on a plane avoiding coming back to the UK.
yeah, I've seen a lovely, amusing portrait about Mr. Starmer this week. More of that. Social services are in an absolute mess, especially with looking after the elderly.
Mm.
And the burden has been put on each individual area. Kent are in a real mess. It depends where you go to throughout the country, how much they're spending
Oh,
on
yeah, it's a lottery.
things like
Definitely.
old
Yeah,
people's homes
definitely a lottery.
and the elderly provision. It varies between 25% and 75% of the budget. We are talking mega money here, and honestly, it needs taking out of the hands of the local
Yeah,
authority.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're not being taken care of, and more seriously now, because it will have to be taken out of their hands, that the private ownership of care homes, they're giving up. They can't stand the burden, neither can any company, of all this national insurance increase, of all the extra costs available, minimum wages, you name it, it is there. And many of them are giving up and handing it back to the local authority and saying, it's yours. We can't cope. We can't provide this service at the cost that you're giving. Well, it's got to change, Marilyn.
But will it? You know, will it? Will they just? I just think it's a forgotten part of society. You're like shoved over there, aren't you? I mean, that's probably why they want the uh, dying bill, whatever it's called, assisted dying bill, and let's get rid of them. You know, it is shocking. Because people are living longer, and you could say 70's the new 60, 80's the new 70. People are healthier, but when you do get to that end, you know, if especially if you've got dementia or Alzheimer's. I mean, I think it's a real safeguarding issue to be but with the family, unless you've got a constant stream of people that are looking after it within the family. You know, they have falls. You can't. I mean, so one of my dementia classic example. There's this elderly guy called who I take to some of the cognitive stuff that Roger goes to with his wife, and he had a fall the other day, and he's broken 8 ribs. He's fractured his shoulder blade. He's damaged his windpipe. Then he was in he was in where was he? He was in uh hospital for about 14 days. He's come home. He's got a hospital bed downstairs. He's got carers 4 times a day coming in. And it's an absolute nightmare. It was one fall that he had. One fall. And it can happen at any time. You can just pop out and there it is. If they start having the falls, it is a problem. Real problem. Because you can't not go out. I mean, you know, you've got to go out yourself. You've got to do shopping. You've got to go out and get medicines and stuff like that. It's very difficult, and it's dreadful that these people are just right left to rot. Really, that no one is picking up the ball and running with it. I mean,
No,
where's Streeting?
yeah, West Streeting is supporting our friend Sadiq Khan,
Oh,
which actually brought that up and brought up the London effect. He's always been out there saying, "Oh, I answer questions direct," and he's clearly wanting the top job, and he presents himself very well. But if you look behind the mask, he is extremely left. There's
oh, I
no
just think
joy
he's a.
there for the country by him
I,
getting in power.
I don't like him. I just think he's a little weed.
Oh, there you go. You see.
I don't like him at all. I just don't. He's got nothing. He's got no substance about him. Let's put it that way.
Well, let's talk about somebody that's got some substance about them. Allegedly, Prince William. Now, he's done a good job this last week, especially regarding the number of males, 7,000 a year,
Yes,
committing suicide.
very sad.
And obviously, he's been pretty close to that street with his mother
Yeah,
dying in the circumstances and what he had to cope with, and his brother afterwards.
yeah.
And he comes over being very sympathetic. he's a person that you can talk to, and it's clear the monarchy will change quite radically when father decides to move on, one way or the other. But I think it could save the monarchy.
Well, it has to change because life has changed so much. I think it would be a shame to get rid of some of how we do the actual parades and stuff. I think that's really lovely. We're the best in the country when we put on a show. Do you know what I mean? But it'd be interesting to know how he sees it changing. I don't know how he sees it changing because they're running out of young people, aren't they? Really,
Yeah,
I mean, I just wonder if I still have this thing that Harry wants to come back. I think he's homesick. I think.
I'm sure it is, and it's only a question of time. One thinks a lot of people are saying it before the break comes up with his beloved, and she goes her own way. Has she
Well,
ever gone his way?
she thinks she's humanitarian. Really?
Hmm.
I
Well,
mean,
she looks after herself. That's a
she,
definition.
I would say, yeah, she's a total narcissist. She sort of puts herself out there, doesn't she? And struts around, and they pick up these ridiculous, innocuous rewards. And I think he maybe is beginning to see it. But I do think I think he's always been, you know, I think he's always been homesick. Frankly, he was just her puppy dog, and he went along with it. But I think he does want to come home. But the trouble is, I mean, he's gone along with so much rubbish that she wanted to say about the monarchy that it's a long way for William and the family to take him back in, really, isn't it?
It is. Again, that's going to be a slow burner.
Oh, for sure.
From what he's put about, you can understand William's attitude.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I mean, I would like to know how he's going to slim it down, though. I mean, in was he going to sort of sell off some castles? Or what is he going to do? Sell off a crown or two?
The brass is there, believe you me. We're going to go on to something very serious now. Prunes. We intersperse our dialogue with health tips and food. And prunes are coming back. They lost their fashion.
Oh, I think they're lovely.
Ooh. And
They're love. You not like them? I think they're lovely.
yeah, they never have done in Spain, I've got to tell you. It's been a big part of the diet. Now, we have to start this section with a health warning. 6 a day is as much as you can cope with, for obvious reasons, I would think. Well, I don't know. Apparently, they really strengthen your bones, especially if you're a lady with
Oh, really?
osteoporosis. Yeah.
Oh,
So you don't. They've got proof now that you don't fall over as often if you have prunes. Probably because you sat in the toilet all day. It's difficult to.
no, no, hang on a minute. You know, more people die on the toilet than anywhere else. Did you know that?
Oh well, I thought you'd come up with that. So stay off the prunes and the loo.
I think they're lovely. I've always liked them, and I like prune juice as well. I think it's lovely,
Oh,
really
there you
nice.
go.
Yeah.
Well, if you get used to it, I suppose. Of course, take your doctor's advice before going on an adventure with the prunes. Well, not the odd one, but if you're having up to six, don't take more than that. And certainly if you've got IBS, no, you don't take your doctor's advice about that. Um, the thing about a prune, it contains an awful lot of vitamin K and potassium, and that can have bad effects if you're on blood thinners.
All right.
So again, look to your doctor to advise on that. But anyway, if you pass all the tests, there's certain things you can make that are gorgeous. If you have a prune and a banana cake as a pudding, it's gorgeous, succulent,
Ah,
obviously with custard or appropriate. That is a nice tip. The other nice tip, of course, if you're a porridge nut for breakfast, lots of people are, then a mixture of prunes, sultanas, not Corbyn's friend. This is, well, we're talking sultanas, but raisins are a bit diddy. If you get the juicy sultanas that are made out of or that they get muscatel wine from, the big ones. Those are gorgeous with your porridge and a few nuts. You've got the perfect breakfast there, in actual fact. But I've come across a recipe that we've actually proved. If you have a porridge, uh, put in there some slowly cooked pears.
Oh yes.
It is
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So porridge is to be promoted.
The pears are, I mean, I don't know. Are you saying you've got to be fresh ones or can you use tinned ones?
Oh no, you cook them fresh.
Right, for couldn't have been fresh. I think the trouble is with pears, they're funny old fruit, really, aren't they? You've got to get them just right because if not, they can be a bit, what I would say, floury.
They can, but if you cook them in again a bit of muscatel wine, they are absolutely
Okay.
gorgeous. Not too much, plenty of sugar in muscatel wines. And the other things that Spanish have always done is that they put them in stews. It thickens it, makes it more glutinous if you wish, but it really complements it. Not too many. And the other thing they like doing is making stuffing. And if you get bored with the usual Paxo lot, yeah, I'll tell you what, if you put some prunes and raisins, sultanas, in there, it makes it really moist and changes the whole taste. It's gorgeous.
Oh,
There you
well, I'll
go.
be doing that on Sunday, so I might do that. I might try that.
There you go. Don't tell
You
them.
might not see me Monday morning.
Well, of course you will. Just do it from the loo. Right. C of E, from the sublime to the ridiculous. If you want to change your whole church to what it should be, then you don't keep digging, do you? And they've done it this time, big time. And a lot of the churches, evangelical churches, particular in London and other districts of the church, saying, this is the last straw. You clearly do not believe in the Bible. You've got your own religion now, C of E. And they have, if you analyse our new Archbishop of Canterbury. At the same time, of course, they get the graffiti into
Oh,
Canterbury
it's hideous. Have you
Cathedral.
seen it?
Oh, I have indeed. And you know what they've done? They've got all the marginalized, inverted commas, groups together and let them put graffiti on a
It is absolutely hideous. I cannot understand who nodded yes to this because it's just awful.
the
It's
DEI, the DEI wokes have done it. I mean, it's the
it,
same in business.
it's awful. It's just so it's so intrusive. And are they going to be able to get this stuff off? Are they going to be able to? I mean, is it?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
it is actually get offable. There's a
It's
way.
just awful. I went and had a look at it, yesterday online. I could not believe how garish and inappropriate it was. Just dreadful.
It is, and it's supposed to bring people. Many years ago, they brought a thing in to be modern, and they still do it. It was called Messy Church.
Oh yes, yes,
What's Messy Church? Well, it's where you let the kids paint on
yeah,
anything that
that's right.
moves,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
like the
makes
old Sunday school. They go out and they.
that's right. But does it not sort of lower the standards? If you go to church, you go to church presumably to worship God. You don't go to be entertained. But what happens maybe in a lot of churches, they've taken down the altar and put a stage there. So you get these heavy bands in some cases performing.
Well, I
The
think
young
that the
people love it.
evangelical happy clappy lot do, don't they?
Well, it's yes.
But I mean, I used to take all my children to all four of them. I mean, I had four under five. They all came to church. I didn't put them out to Sunday school or anything. They sat in church and learnt how to behave. And I took little things for them, and they had little toys and little books and stuff like that, and a snack, and they just got on with it.
Yes, it is. It's called family and bringing kids up the right way. You don't need gimmicks. I'm a little bit worried about, and I always have been, the word evangelical. That's good. It means spreading the gospel.
Right.
A lot of people like to degenerate into making that a dirty word. It's the evangelical church in London that have risen up as
Yes.
aforementioned
Yeah, because it's
against the
lively.
Well, it is. Some
And
people like that.
they actually do worship as opposed to some of these Church of England churches. Oh my goodness me, they are so dour. You know, there's no sort of feeling of worship and joy. Just
No, it's difficult. I tell you what, and I mentioned this before, the lot that GB News have got on for giving thought for the day, called
mm.
Reflections, are really good vicars and vicaresses. They are
Yeah, I
fantastic.
listened to one the other morning actually,
Mm.
and yeah, they are. They are good. Yeah. And
No,
it's
they
only a
can be
minute.
good.
It's only a minute.
Without going to other faiths.
Yeah,
We
that's right.
are
No, it's
living
good.
in Christendom, after
Mm.
all, allegedly. Okay, we move on. Hate speech. How do we define it? It's still in there. Um, Now, what happens in a synagogue is usually okay. A lot of people take a lot of comfort for being in a Jew, going into a synagogue on Shabbat, which is Saturday. But I tell you what's coming out of all this horrible stuff in Heaton Park, Manchester, is the hate speech that is still going on in mosques.
Mm.
The imams are still issuing, perhaps, I don't know, in their own way, little bits of jihad.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if a Christian minister had stood up in a church and said what the imams are saying and getting away with, and that's the thing, they still get away with it. And
And don't forget as
clown,
well that they have for the young people, they have sort of like Saturday church on a don't they, in the morning, and the imams do all that. So what brainwashing are they doing to the youngsters? And
well,
there's an
this
awful lot of
guy,
abuse that goes on at those times as well, because I know some Muslim women that refuse to send their children anymore to those Saturday morning mosques. And I think those imams need investigating, but they
well,
won't because
no, it needs investigating. And Mr. Jihad was at a radical imam's mosque, and that's done no good for him at all.
no,
It
no, I
goes
mean.
on, people are being fed hate in
Oh,
our
that's
own
right.
country.
That's right. That's right. And I think, but there's no way Keir Starmer would do anything about that, is there? Because we all know why.
We do, but let's say it. He gets the Muslim vote.
There you
7%
go.
of Muslims in the United Kingdom.
Yep, there you go.
If you look at the Jewish votes, probably
I just don't know
20% more
how
than that.
they can say that anti-Semitism is not hate speech and Islamophobia is. I just think that's awful. I mean, of course it's hate speech. Most of those people on the march were anti-Semitic, whatever they like to think they were.
Yeah, two-tier Britain. 2 trillion, talking about two-tier, is what people are now saying that we should pay in Gaza reparations. Now, this is because our leader has said we support the Palestinians and we support what they want regarding their own country. And he said this in the middle of the negotiations that are so delicate that have now triumphed under Trump. And people are looking at how stupid Britain is. We could get some money here. We've done it with the Chagos situation, and people actually are paying no income tax now in the favoured region over there because they're getting all this compensation from Britain. The fella is either badly advised, that's the PM, or is it complete madman?
Well, there was a thing on GB News last night actually going on about this that Chagos Islands, isn't it linked to China? It linked to China, Taiwan. So they were going on about this link with China. And it was very interesting is how do you de-link yourself from China? And they were talking about the super embassy that's up for being built in London and hasn't got the planning commission yet. But why would you? Why would you want? I mean, we've outsourced everything to China when they could have outsourced some stuff to India and America and stuff like that, but no, so they're really very much in bed with China, and it's going to be very difficult to get divorced from them, isn't it, really? But they've just got to be so
We,
careful.
we, we, we cannot get divorced from this. We're in too
No,
far. And Starmer again has committed some sins that will not leave us. And it's only just the beginning, and it's not just the mega mosque,
No, no, no.
which I call it. It's the Chinese embassy, of course.
Yeah.
It again, that's all part of the whole scene of China and Islam. If you want to know the real truth about both of those, that's the enemy. But of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
this present government will not call China an enemy, and that's why two spies got away with
Well,
what.
that's right. And they're also very frightened, aren't they? That if we were to sort of like get under the skin of the Chinese, then if they pulled any stuff that we are like buying or supporting, it would absolutely wreck our economy.
It would. Where they've insidiously got themselves into our economy and many
Well,
other.
that is how they are, aren't they? They are insidious, a bit like the Japanese. They are they're very good at sort of having a project and letting somebody else fire the bullets.
Non-combative warfare. They're excellent at
Absolutely
that.
right. Could not have put that better myself.
Well, beware. Stay where you are in Egypt, Mr. Starmer. You're definitely safer there. Don't think you're coming back to Britain. You'll have to, of course, and then you'll have to face the music. Either way, it could be what people are praying for in the United Kingdom, because they're not going to take another 3.5 to 4 years of this. It's monstrous. And that's without even mentioning the budget in the last
But you
day
see, they
of November.
can't. They've got a problem, haven't they? Because isn't this right? Have I heard this right? That if they do make a scene about this, then they have to actually denounce China as being the enemy, don't they?
Yep.
And that's going to cause the problem, as you say. That's why those guys got away with it. But it's
It's
dreadful.
not going to happen. I mean, they've got a basement plan there for the new embassy
Yes,
that's over the network of cables that control practically everything in Britain.
yes,
They can tap into it
yes. And
very
also
easily.
they've got a like is it a couple of rooms or an area that is like
Well,
can't no go area, isn't it?
the
And
prison
they've
there.
asked, our government has asked, what is it for? And they've said, oh, we'll tell you once you've signed off the planning commission. Well, that it doesn't work like that, does it?
It doesn't. And when it comes to certain facts, like the Americans have said, you can't deal with the Chinese this way.
Mm,
It's going to destroy our relationship, MI5, MI6, CHQ, everything with the Americans. They're not going to trust us anymore.
no, no, no. Well, I don't trust them.
Well, right.
I don't trust. They had Bridget Phillipson on yesterday, didn't they, on Laura Kunsberg, assuring us about Jonathan Powell and everything had been done properly. What you mean? How many times have we told that? And it hasn't been done. The due diligence hasn't been done.
No,
It's selective due diligence. They don't do the deep dive.
indeed. I'll tell you something that has got pushed to one side that's got to come out again. That's the difference between the Biden administration and the Trump administration regarding the border in Mexico, because some horrendous facts have come in. Of course, Biden let everybody in. And the cruelty,
Yeah.
the wickedness that went on there. And they still criticize Trump for this. The drug taking, the rapes, nearly 70% of the women coming over the border at certain times were raped. And the drugs that came in were awful. And even Al Qaeda was involved in getting the drugs into North America this way. How can they possibly justify that? But the left doesn't want to, the far left. It just quotes cant and hypocrisy the whole time. And you can always tell a true lefty because they're a hypocrite.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They've
I
got
mean, the
four and
thing is
five
though,
houses.
I mean, it was the amount of fentanyl that's and they're making that up in the hills and backwaters of Mexico, and that was coming, and fentanyl's lethal. It really is. And you've got so many people that are like
It is.
passing out
Drops
on
are lethal. Of it, there's only a few drops and you're dead.
exactly. Exactly. Something I read somewhere like what a whole like a bag of sugar full of fentanyl would kill off everybody in London, half of Britain, and all of New York. It's dreadful stuff, but they make it, don't they, up in the sort of the, as I say, up in the backwaters of Mexico, and then bring it in.
They do. We're going to move off, lighten the load a bit and go into bungalows. Now, this came out a fortnight ago, still being discussed. Apparently, only 1% of the new builds are bungalows. Wow! Everybody wants to retire to the seaside in a bungalow. Well, they can't now. Why? Well, the price of land has got ridiculous because we got too many people in the United Kingdom. There's not enough land, so we can only build upwards, and bungalows are not exactly upwards. So you've got the situation again. If you're over 50, you would sooner have a bungalow because you don't do steps as you used to do steps. But how do you get round the problem? Well, obviously, certain people are saying, well, you've got too many illegal migrants in the country. They can go straight away. Now, there's only reform, and now the lovely Badenoch's come along and said the same thing. We're going to reduce the population of illegal people in our country. They've been listening to Trump and Farage, obviously. Don't care who they've been listening to. Is it a good idea?
Yes. Get rid of them. Yeah. I mean, if they're illegal, if they are genuine asylum seekers, so these guys are not, these are young men that are opportunists, and a lot of them are financial migrants. They are, I mean, there's a lot of them. They're not, I mean, they've come through Europe. They're not, and they've been in France. I mean, France isn't a terrorist country, is it? I think I mean, there is no problem if you are genuinely coming from a terrible country. But now, did you see what they're doing? They are offering £40 for a letter that you bring with you that says you were threatened to be killed. I mean, and how do you prove that?
Exactly.
It's dreadful. If you have come here illegally, off you go. But if you've been here and you settled here, and that's what I don't like about Farage's policy, if you've been here and you settled here, why should you go? Why should you go if you've contributed to society? And I think that's wrong. I really do think it's wrong. But if you come in on a rubber dinghy and you've lost all your papers, you've thrown them all away, the only piece of paper you've come in with is the fact, oh, you were going to be killed or tortured, then you've got to go back. You've got to go back to sweet.
Well, it's the bigger problem, of course, which is not the Channel lot. It's the students that stay here illegally.
Yes.
I personally would deport them. You're
Mm,
here, you're lying, go back from whence you
mm,
came.
mm,
And a
mm.
lot of them are real nasties. Anyway, we're coming to the end, but we've got to cover one thing that is, again, a hidden serious bump in the road. And that is we have a generation of children aged 10 to 17 that are so into sexual abuse, you wouldn't believe, against social media. And they're taking pornographic videos, spreading these around. It's become a cult. And would you believe there's been an interest in this, an increase in this age group of 17% of actual rapes? And nobody's done anything about it. And the people that really should do something about it, yes, the government, but also the big social media players,
Well,
whether it be
absolutely. I mean,
Facebook or
it's just,
TikTok.
but of course, the awful thing as well is that with AI, they can create their own, you see. They
Yeah.
can create their own images, and it's very difficult to not see the difference. So, but what mindset of a child wants to do that? That's what I find incredibly worrying. Why would, why don't you want to just go out and play football or something? Why would you want to go down this route of sort of researching it, creating your own images? It's just sick. I just don't understand what is happening to this generation of children. I mean, I just worry about, I really do worry about it. You're just building up a whole load of people with mental health issues, aren't you? But also, some of it is because they are so into watching pornography. That's why they've become so overly sexualized. It's become a norm.
Right, we're coming to the end. As I say, look, we have our own problems here in dear old Spain. We've always had them, to be honest. And that is every night of the week, it seems. No, it's not that, but certainly weekly. We heard we hear of people here being shot in restaurants in
Mm.
broad daylight. Goes on regularly, and it's gangs again from Sweden and Ireland mainly that send 15-year-old kids here to reap vengeance because it's easier to shoot people here. The thing is that you're off your guard when you're on holiday,
But
and
why?
it's not
What?
like
Why
Spain.
anyway? Why anyway? But why Spain? But why anyway?
Well, you're off your guard, you feel relaxed. The rich and famous and wealthy come down here, and it's just sort of its own brainwashing. Oh, nothing can happen to me here. The sun is shining. You bet it can and does. And people are being shot. It's not from lack of police. They normally catch these criminals very quickly. It's gang warfare that's being put in another country because, I repeat, their guard is down. They think this could never happen on holiday, but it can and does regularly. And of course, there's so many drugs, and it's all part of the scene down here.
but why are they doing it to then steal Rolex watches or something, or is it just random shooting and I'm off? Is that
Oh yeah, it's something. I mean, you do get the Rolex watches, and they're very good at pocketing in most big cities in Spain. But no, particularly in Alicante area and down here in the Costa del Sol, that's where they come. They're well-heeled people. Oh, what a relief to get out of our home country and living in fear, and bang, and they recruit a 15-year-old as a killing device that will go put his arm around you and bang, 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 and you're dead.
and then they shut off?
Well, yeah, and blood's left on the floor, and people are just getting used to it. Sadly, at restaurants, I say used to, you never get used to a scene like that. That will affect you for the rest of your life. But what the police can do when there's so much of it down here, they're doing their best.
I just don't understand it. I don't understand what the purpose is. It's not like you're anti anybody. You're just being shipped in and how
Well,
they can. I
it's
mean,
gang warfare.
oh right, okay.
They've committed their heinous crime up in Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland, particularly. And right, you've broken the rules. We will kill you. And they do, and it's easier and cheaper to do it abroad. It's become an industry. Horrible, isn't it?
It is absolutely awful. It is. It's absolutely awful. And it's on an industrial scale, isn't it? It's dreadful.
It is. Finally, I've got a question for you. Why would you fly the flag? Would it
I,
be St. George's flag? Would it be the Union Jack?
oh, it would depend on if it's the rugby or the football or the cricket. It would be the St George's flag, and if it's anything else, it's the Union Jack.
Well, it's racist, apparently, according to a large section of society.
Go and do one. Unbelievable. Just go if you don't want go back to your own country and fly your own damn flag if it's offensive.
Well,
I'm sorry. I just we have why you don't I can't see going to America and being told not to fly their flag. You see it everywhere.
I can't see him going to Wales, and you see flags
Exactly. Well,
everywhere.
Scotland's another one. They fly
Yeah.
their flags. Ridiculous. It's because you're proud of your country. You're making a point, aren't you, as well? I mean, did
Oh,
you
yes.
see that lady the other day that's been arrested because she said I was born and bred here, that lady in Scotland? She was arrested by the police because she happened to say I was born and bred here. What? It's insane.
It is. There you go, recommended, folks. Don't have to wait for the next World Cup when we'll no doubt fail again, despite the German coach that we now have to decorate your car with Union Jacks. Put a flagpole in the lawn. Put the Union flag up there.
You see it all the while over here. You see them hanging off the lampposts and you see them hanging off the motorway bridges. So yeah, bring it on.
And if
Why
your
not?
local council doesn't like it, well, tell them
Who
where to
cares?
stick their lamppost.
Where the sun don't shine.
There you go. That's our week so
Okie
far.
dokie. Well, there'll be loads more, I'm sure, in the next few days. It's
Some
moving on
very
at such a
interesting.
rate, isn't
We're
it?
at the crossroads in many ways, aren't we?
Yes, and we have to see what's going to happen to Prince Andrew as well.
Yeah, there's oh no,
Maybe there'll be some movement on that this week.
yes, the movement will be in various directions. Interesting things are happening with the royalty. Interesting things are happening everywhere.
Yes, it's
And
a certain a topsy-turvy time.
that's the word. Well, two
All
words,
right then.
topsy and turvy. No doubt somebody will say how that came about, but you can do your homework and look what we really mean. Probably something completely rude about topsy and turvy. But there you go. We'll see you very
Bye
shortly.
bye bye. Have a good week.